Look, this total insanity with this iPro Realty, it just grows and grows. Like, it looks like they tapped into these two evil, dirty crooks, tapped into like 30 million of other people's money. They were running fake accounts. They were running trust accounts that weren't registered with the regulator. They were just like maniacs, stealing right, left, and center, okay? So it makes me stop and think, like, what in the world was going on with this regulator, this Reco, this Real Estate Commission of Ontario? Like, good God, this is like insanity. I mean, they knew about it since May. Nothing. They waited till August to even just look in, to take an hint, to say, well, you got to stop now. Okay. Like, but it's making me think about every self-regulator, like when an industry looks after itself, okay, which comes to mind mainly is Reco and the Law Society, because those two industries run trust accounts. They take other people's money, lawyers do, and real estate brokerages do. They take other people's money and they store it for them in trust, okay? Now, other industries don't do that. Like, when you're talking to your financial advisor, they essentially never touch your money. Like, they're moving money between financial institutions, so a very high level of governance. When you're talking to a mortgage broker, unless it's a private mortgage, and even then, we don't actually touch your money, okay? Like, if you're a mortgage administrator, different. But that's a tiny minority of the mortgage brokerages in Canada. Like, it's very small. But so we don't actually touch anybody's money. The bank sends them a mortgage. A lawyer does the mortgage. We're hands off the money. But if you're a lawyer and a real estate brokerage, you're handling people's money all the time. You're storing it for them. You're dispersing it for them. And that must really require a huge level of audit. Like, I'm just putting it out there. Like, you know, and you shouldn't self-regulate. It shouldn't be up to the industry itself to do all the regulating, all the auditing, all the checking, all the catching. That doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm in a business where, in mortgages, we don't handle anyone's actual money. Like, we've never put a client's money into our bank account in history for 30 years. Never happened, okay? So it never had a human being. We had lots of banks put a lot of money into our accounts. Lawyers put money into our accounts. But no person off the street has ever come in and put money into our account, okay? So here's the deal. Why do we have a government regulator? And like a lot of other people are government, all these financial advisors, it's a government regulator. It's not, it's an agency, it's an independent agency, but at the end of the day, it's the government, okay? It's not realtors checking on realtors. It's not lawyers checking lawyers, okay? So in my mind, that ain't right. That's got to change, okay? This Reco thing, both because the lawyers, there's always some lawyer stealing some shit. I mean, always. It happens. Like, it's consistent. They just don't, the truth is they don't audit enough, okay? Same with, Reco's crooked. I mean, like, how can you catch something in May and deal with it in August? That's just crooked. Reco's got to go, okay? Simple as that. So why aren't governments the regulators? Why can't now I know everybody says, oh, Ron, Jesus, governments are terrible. They cost too much to do this and that. Well, better that I'm okay with a little bit more expense if the public's money's not being stolen. Like, it's meaningful, okay? Like, we've got to stop the public's money from being stolen. There's these lawyers who ran up, husband and wife lawyers, they ran off with $7 million is gone. I was just reading it the other day. They're just finally getting to some kind of finalization of that thing. The man saying the wife stole it, the wife saying, you know all about it, really, on and on. Like, oh my God. And I'll tell you a lawyer story. We had a lawyer in Mississauga who handled private mortgages. He just stole like 800 grand out of the trust fund. Same as these iPro guys. He just stole it and spent it, okay? So they catch him. After 3 years, they audited him. They catch him, and they say, hey, what are we going to do here? He says, I'll tell you what. I'll get you the money. I'll put the money back next week. The money will be back, and then I swear I won't do it again. You can watch me very closely. And I just some one-time lapse. I was drinking too much, smoking too much dope, whatever he said. I don't know. But anyway, he went to his dear friend who was rich, and he got the 800 grand as a loan. And he put it back, and they let him keep going. I'm not playing. They let him continue. They said, well, you cannot have a trust account. You can't have a trust account, or you can only have a trust account in another lawyer's office, and they have to monitor everything. And there are all these restrictions, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. A month after he was reinstated, he just went to the bank and opened another trust account. He went to a different bank and opened another trust account. He just didn't give a damn. Then he stole another $1.8 million, okay? Yeah, that happened. Swear to God, it happened. It's 15 years ago, but it happened, okay? Because same thing as Reco with these crooks. The regulator wants to do two things. A, they're buddies. They know they're lawyer. You're a lawyer. I'm a lawyer. You're a real estate agent. I'm a real estate agent. So let's work this out. And they hate scandal. They don't like scandal. They'd rather just get rid of the scandal, keep the stink off. Okay. No, because that leads to terrible decisions like we've seen here with these crooked, dirty bastards at iPro. Okay. So the answer is get rid of self-regulation. Government, because guess what? I get a notification from our regulator that they're they're delicensing people like every 3 months, that they're fining people 50, 60, 80,000 every 3 months. Like it's real action because it's government. They don't care. They're not a mortgage broker. So they don't, they maybe don't, some of them may not even like us. I don't know, but they're not part of us. So you get quick, rational reactions. Folks, these guys at iPro stole, it looks like, from one point to another, took it out, put it back, took it out, put it back. 30 million was running around, okay? The cops and the Crown should have arrested them by now. That's the horror show of Canada. You break the law, and they got to think about it for a year or two. Maybe you get arrested. Maybe you don't, okay? Justice delayed is justice denied to the public. Because if you're a hardworking anybody in this industry, in that industry, or a lawyer, or an honest lawyer, or an honest real estate brokerage, which most of them are, like 95% of them are, 99% of them are, they don't steal the money. You must be sitting back thinking, why am I being so careful? Why am I being so meticulous? Why am I never just maybe take a few bucks off and then put it back later? Why? And maybe I have to pay, if I'm having a bad month, maybe I have to put some money in for my own money. They're saying to themselves, why am I so honest? These guys stole 30 million, nothing happened. We got to get government regulators.